You know, these trips, you always start out super excited, and you've got all kind of ideas in your head of what to expect, and a lot of times, you know, it's like nothing like that, but you're still, you know, you got the suspense, and you're all jacked up, and looking over the weather, and getting all our gear set out, and trying to make a game plan for the next morning, and here we go. Weather doesn't look good, and that's something you fight all the time up in the mountains. Whether you're in Alaska, on the western part of Canada, or the eastern part we're at, it's just something you're always gonna have to deal with. And so, but we managed to get out and that next morning and hike up and look for a little while, but it was nearly unbearable because of the wind. I mean, I'm talking winds blowing 50 plus miles an hour, which I've been in before, but it's not very comfortable. It's very hard to glass. You can't see real well. The animals don't like it. You know, by the time you get up there, your eyes are watering, your fingers are freaking cold, and it's just miserable. But we got up there and were able to put our eyes on some moose and see kind of what was happening. And that proved invaluable to our hunt later on. We retreated back down to camp and just waited for the storms to come in, and boy, did they come in. That night was pretty miserable. It's hard to sleep. The tent that we were staying in was a pretty nice outfitter's tent, but nothing could withstand those type of winds. Well, you never know what kind of equipment you're going to get when you're hunting in these different camps around the world. And, you know, we were looking at the weather and looking at this big lake we were camped on. We're like, man, we really need to get across that lake. And so I went down and checked out this motorboat, and looked like it had some severe repairs done to it. And I kept looking at it. I was like, what in the heck happened to this boat? You know, it's like they riveted all this stuff up and, you know, epoxy, you know, the heck out of it. I'm like, I wonder what happened. And you know, found out later from one of the guys that somebody in nearby camp didn't like that boat there, and had come over with a damn axe and put holes all in it. That was our source of transportation across the lake, so I wanted it to be pretty secure, you know. Once we got the weather behind us, we wanted to check out a new area, and it's an area where they had seen some other big bull moose, and we wanted to put our eyes over there. You know, we needed good weather to do that. So we had the conditions we needed. We got over there. Wasn't as early as we liked, but we got over there and got up the hill, and heck, we glassed for a long time, and you know, didn't really see any big bull moose. We did see some other activity from a different angle from where we were looking that first morning, and so we bookmarked that and said, you know, that might be something good on the third day to get out there a little bit earlier and to look at this area from a different angle. Day three, we really wanted to take advantage of the first 2 days, and so you know, number one was we had to get up early. Well, we decided we want to get there first light and see what these moose are doing. They're coming out of the edges of the timber, they're going back in, you know, like an hour later. So we didn't have much time to spot a moose, number one, decide if we wanted to kill it, and three, stalk and get ourselves in a position to make a shot, you know. And sure enough, I start glassing there, and I see some moose, and we took about 10 or 15 minutes, made sure that it was what we wanted to go after. And like I said, this late in the season, you see a bull moose, you go after it. This hill right here in front of us, just across the lake, they're just on the back side of it. So we'll get through these two lakes here. We'll come up where the shadow is, where there's not trees, and we'll come up on top of that hill, look over the back side, and should have a shot. 709. $712. I'm just gonna dial in 700. I'm just gonna fire at 700. Making our stalk, we got up to a point where I could put my eyes on that moose, and it made me nervous. And the reason it made me nervous is because I'm sitting here watching my clock and watching the sun and watching the timber line, and that moose is getting close to the edge of the timber, and I'm like, gosh, you know what? I've been here before. Guys got to make a good decision. You know, I'm hunting 2 animals in 6 days. It's on our 3rd day. You know, do I take the risk of a long shot and blowing this animal out? And I made the decision, yes, I do. You know, this long distance shooting, you know, at 760 yards, that was the distance that I ended up connecting with the moose. It doesn't make for very good video production. It's not a lot to capture sometimes out there. And, you know, you do this enough, you're going to get some great video, you're going to get some great pictures of some great hunts, and then you're gonna get some hunts where it just doesn't all work out. You know, just know that we lose some of the excitement sometimes when you're shooting at these long distance shots. But then you can also look on the other side of things. Hey, you have to do that, right? And that's really what I'm trying to explain here. Is a guy has to make a decision sometimes. It's not always easy. It's not always glamorous, and it's not always exciting. You know, and that was one of those moments where the window was closing and we weren't going to get another opportunity, and I wasn't going to be in the same situation that we've always been in. And that's like, gosh, you know, should I have done that? And I always go by the old adage, don't pass on the first day what you'd shoot on the last day, and that's what you just witnessed. You know, I always ask myself, what's unique about this place? And, you know, Newfoundland. I mean, look at the name, Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland in the middle of water. I mean, and that's exactly what it is. It is tundra and marsh everywhere. What's your opinion on the wind with these caribou moving. I mean,
They don't care. They don't care.
but I kind of find that hard to believe. All animals care about the wind.
No, not caribou here.
Yeah?
They don't care about nothing. The snow, the wind, the rain.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty tough animal.
They got pretty good noses on them. They smell pretty well.
Yeah.
They do?
They
Like a
smell-
whitetail or not as good?
Not as good like that. They are good there.
What's their best sense? The sight or hearing? Hearing? They hear real well? Their nose is big enough, it should be good.
Just need to see a group, 15 or 20, and the big bulls always follow at the end, all the group. The dog gonna have the lead of the group, and the bull gonna just
Trail him.
chase him and follow him.
We saw some pretty good action yesterday with the bulls pushing them. Beautiful day. It's our second day on this hunt with sunshine. The first time we got sunshine was our third day on a moose hunt, and this is our third day on a caribou. And it worked out the first time on the moose hunt. We'll see if we can't get lucky today on our caribou. We took a boat this morning across the lake to a new area, walked up to this higher point here and started glassing on the river's edge, and we've already seen a group of caribou. We've seen some antlers. So they're feeding around. We're gonna try to get a good look at them and see if we can't bring home some antlers today and some caribou meat.
We see back at the right.
There's one right there. There's a bull. Yep, straight in front of us. The three right in front of us. You can see him, he's the one on the right. You can see his antlers on the second one. The shadow, he's kind of wrestling around with that one. They got their heads kind of butting each other, kind of wrestling around there. He's going to come out behind that tree. Day last morning.
If you want to check your tag,
We just tagged out. I don't care. That's what I wanted. On the day that the sun comes out, for moose and caribou, it all comes together. I can't be happier. I'll tell you, man, I was getting a little nervous.
Yeah, me too.
The anxiety was building.
With all the weather.
And we fought nature like wind, fog, rain, and caribou, and finally prevailed. The caribou got a couple points those first 2 days, but on the third day in the fourth quarter, Harlan Hunts gets a point.